Hello, today we are going to talk about Oracle Database, 12c and SQL Part 4 presented by chaîne encyclopédie topic.
Oracle Database 12c provides several dynamic performance views to see the components and sizes of SGA. You can use the command $SGA and $SGA info as shown here. In the SQL statements, we write SQL star from $SGA. And so we have this in the response. The name of the component, the value of the component, and the connection ID. The fixed size of the SGA is this. Megabit. The variable size is this. The database buffer, the database buffers in megabytes, the number in megabytes, approximately 1 gigabit. The redo buffers in megabits. Alternatively, you may use the show SGA command from SQL Plus as shown here. You can use this command or this command, show SGA. And the result is this. Total system global area, 2 gigabytes. The fixed size is this fixed size. The variable size in bytes, variable size. Data buffers, and redo buffer. The total system global area, the size of the total system global area is 2 gigabytes. The output from this query shows that the total size of the SGA is 2 gigabytes. This total size is composed of the variable space that is composed of the shared pool, the large pool, and the Java pool. The database buffer cache, this is a size in bytes. The redo log buffers is size in bytes, and some additional space in bytes that stores information used by the instance background process. Good. The $SGA info view displays additional details about the allocation of space within the SGA, as shown in the following query. This is the following query. Select star from $SGA info. And so we have the name of the component and the value in bytes. This is the resizable, and this is the connection ID. The fixed SGA size is this. You don't have you cannot resize it. No. The redo buffer is this. You cannot size it. Resizability. Shared pool size, buffer cache size, you can resize it. Shared pool size, you can resize it. Large pool size, the same thing. Java pool size, the same thing. Stream pool size, 0, but you can, this is 0, but you can resize it. Shared input-output pool size, you can resize it. Data transfer cache size, 0, and you can resize it. Granule size, what we mean granule size? This is the smallest part of the SGE. The value is 16,777,200. The maximum SGS size is this, 2 GB. Startup overhead in shared pool, this is the value. Free SG memory available, 0. So you have 16 rows selected. The results of this query show in detail how much space is occupied by each component, how much size is occupied by each component in the shared pool. The components with the resizable column with a value of yes, can be managed dynamically by Oracle Database 12c. This can be managed dynamically by Oracle Database C.
Also, background process, what means maintain and enforce relationships between physical and memory structures. Mandatory background process, DBWriter, SMON, checkpoint, logwriter, SMON. Optional background process, archiver, recovery, SNN, LMS, so on. Database writer. In the database writer, so what we see the instance, we have in the instance the SGA. And the SGA we have the database buffer cache, communicate with DBWriter. The database buffer cache, the DBWriter communicate with database buffer cache and the data files. Database writer writes when checkpoint occurs, dirty buffer reach threshold, there are no free buffers, timeout occurs, rack ping request is made, tablespace offline, tablespace read only, tablespace drop and truncate, so on. System monitor SMON. In the system monitor SMON, the SMON communicate with the database. That means communicate with data files. And the SMON, it's in an instance and communicate with data files. Responsibilities. Instance recovery, roles, forward changes in online Redolog files, opens database for user access, rolls back uncommitted transactions, coalesces free space, delocates temporary segments. Process monitor PMON. So the PMON communicate with SGA and PGA area. Cleans up after failed processes by rolling back the transaction, releasing locks, releasing other resource, restarting did dispatchers. Checkpoint. This is the checkpoint and communicate with DB writer and log writer and communicate with data files and control files in the database. Responsible for what? Signaling DB writer at checkpoints, updating data file headers with checkpoint information, updating control files with checkpoint information. Processing SQL statements. Connect to an instance using user process, server process. The Oracle server components that are used depend on the type of SQL statement. Queries return rows, DML statements, log changes, commit ensures transaction recovery. Some Oracle server components do not participate in SQL statement processing. This is I finish now. Please make like and subscribe to see the following subject Oracle database. Thank you very much.